Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I want to dive into a post-sentencing reading after the fact, after Kohberger has already been sentenced, impact statements, everything that happened. I want to dig into a couple different things. One, how is Kohberger really feeling, especially during Olivia's victim impact statement? Also, supposedly there have been threats, not only to victims' families, but also to Kohberger. And what's really interesting, the third thing I want to look at in this video is the smiley face killer. You remember him, right? He's incarcerated, I think, in a federal prison. I don't think it's state. It might be federal. I'm not sure. But he's in Oregon, okay? And the smiley face killer actually came out and said that he would like to be Kohberger's cellmate. He would like to see Bryan transferred to Oregon, and he feels that Bryan would be much safer in Oregon, where maybe he's not as well known. I don't know how that's possible. Kohberger's known globally because this is like one of the crimes of the century, so far. Of course, we're only in the 20s. But thus far, horrible. So, I want to dig into this, and as always, just remember that this reading is for entertainment purposes only, not based on fact, just my opinion, my interpretation of the cards. Do your own research, form your own opinions, throw your own cards. I'm just a crazy blonde throwing cards here. And ignore the background. I've got a mess over there I got to get cleaned up. That's on my agenda if I find time. Anyhow, let's head over to the reading table. Now we're here. Okay, I hope you got your coffee. And let's get to throwing some cards. Before I get into these decks, the predictions deck and investigations deck over here, I got a hair stuck in my bracelet. Just a quick little note. Otter Spirit bracelets, fantastic bracelets. I guess I got to put on my promotion thing, but I'm just going to do a real quick spiel. These are fantastic. I wear these quite often. I've got a protection one on, I've got an abundance bracelet on, and I've got a moolah, luck, money type bracelet on today. These are my favorite combos because I stay protected. I attract abundance. Abundance is more than just tangible items. It could be abundance in love, abundance in energy, etc. And then, of course, who doesn't like money? Just saying. Okay. Promotion code, discount code to get 20% off your order is DivinePA20 at checkout. Links is under the affiliate links in the description box along with that coupon code. Just a quick spiel. And yes, they donate so much from every sale to help the otters. Hence, Otter Spirit. Okay. Now, let's go. I just want to get an overall energy about Bryan's feelings right now. Energy surrounding him at the moment. Post sentencing reading. Okay. I did do some pre-shuffle off screen to save a little bit of time. Okay. Oh, isolation. Okay, that makes total sense. He is in total isolation. Absolutely. Okay. And again, I feel it's for his own protection. He is feeling a little bit shunned. He is feeling like he's been left out in the cold, We'll dig more into that, okay? And he's worried. He's worried. So this to me, just these two cards alone are telling me he's in isolation because of threats. He's afraid to go to sleep at night. There is something going on in that prison right now. Something's going on. Working. So it's paying attention to the details. He's the apprentice. He's the newcomer on the prison block. So, and teaching a lesson. That's the energy. We want to teach Kohberger a lesson. He's Mr. Tough Guy. He took out 4 people, allegedly. I know. He confessed to all 4. But my spirit guides, my cards, my readings say he didn't do all 4 of them. Okay? But that there were others involved. A whole nother reading. Okay? Right now, it's just like, we got to teach Kohberger a lesson. So authorities, wardens, guards, whoever, has him locked down. I haven't done any recent, I haven't looked into his current, what's out there in the media about his prison conditions. I just heard that there were threats put out there right after or whatever, or around the time of his sentencing hearing. He's hoping for mercy, King of Cups. And not just that, he's hoping for emotions to be contained and kept under control. And it's not, and I'm not feeling just it could be the emotional atmosphere. Control your emotions. He's hoping they control their emotions and don't act. But in addition to that, he knows things are bubbling. There's also this fear here that if he gets attacked, he's going to retaliate. There's an energy of him being underestimated by GP, which stands for General Public, in that prison. He is definitely being underestimated, and he's trying to control himself as best as he can. He doesn't want any more trouble. He's already in the doghouse. He's already, threats being thrown out there. He's already in isolation. According to my cards, he is, allegedly. If somebody knows something different, let me know in the comments. But he's really trying to maintain control of his emotions. And that's one of his strengths, actually. He's really good at masking what he feels, not showing any emotions. Go back and watch that sentencing hearing. I watched it. And there were little subtle clues here and there, certain shifts, certain fidgeting. I think he showed the most during Olivia's victim impact statement. And it was really, really subtle shifts. At the very end, he even looked away from her. No eye contact. But that whole time, he was like really trying to maintain control. And inside the prison itself, he's still trying to maintain some level of control. But he has to be mindful of when he is sleeping. It's kind of funny. Okay, my apologies. To save some ears, because I get complaints about my dogs all the time. They're dogs. I'm a dog mom. And Daisy's a Great Pyrenees. That's her job, to bark. She barks at anything that sounds suspicious. And as soon as the ring door, camera goes off, alerting me that there's somebody at the front door, which was the mailman. She starts. Anyhow, back to the reading. I started to say here that it's interesting that this is in the center of the spread, the key card. This is representing some obstacles that he may be coming up against. Daisy, stop. Which would be lack of sleep, trying to rest, finding peace is an obstacle for him because of these threats. You know, I see him, I get this image of him everywhere he goes, no matter what he does, to the shower or whatever. He's always looking over his shoulder. He's always very aware of his surroundings. And he wants to find that peace, but he can't. There could also be some inner shit going on with him as well. But he does have support. The Ace of Cups. This is what's supporting him. This is overflow of emotions and love from other people. He still has support from public sources, probably from family. There's an outpouring of love. There's a lot of support there. There might even be sympathy, believe it or not. Okay. If he did indeed take out one of the victims at least, I have no sympathy. I still feel he was involved. If he didn't take any of them out, I'm still not sympathetic per se, with the exception of he got a harsh sentence, yes. But there was some involvement and he knows it, whether he actually took anybody out or not. But this outpouring of love and support. And I'm feeling like I'm going to use the term because it was used already online. Pro-burgers. Okay? He has those support. There's still some diehards out there. You know, my stance hasn't changed. I've said for a long time. You know, in the beginning, my beginning readings, I kind of went back and forth trying to feel my way. I felt like maybe he didn't do it, but then he did, only because there were certain things that were still being hidden, even energetically. And I always picked up other people involved. I still do. But I'm also picking up an energy that if something happens to him, there are several key players that are going to have to hide because there's going to be fingers pointing at certain key players. And I'm going to leave that there. Okay? I'm going to leave that one alone. He's got... I said I wanted to leave this alone. But they're bringing it up. 10 of Cups as either some negative influences or oppression. This is the family, happy family, victim's family. There's also maybe even his own family. We know that his own family have received threats the whole entire time. But he's maintaining a certain control. There's something here in regards to his plea and going through with his sentencing that involves his family. Okay, we will move on from that for now. And he had a choice. He weighed his options. 2 of Wands. This man is holding the globe. He's holding one and there's another one. I have to let one of these options go. And he was, in the recent past, this is recent, he was standing at the crossroads. And it has to do with his family. He's looking out and across the globe, across the country. He's looking at his family. And I feel the reason for his plea had to do with his family. Had to do with some kind of protection And I'm also seeing Four of Swords as the 4 victims also. Okay, above him. He thinks about those 4 victims. He thinks about what happened. And he's thinking about his own family because of the threats going against his family. Well, let's teach him a lesson. Let's take on one of his family members as show so he can see how it feels to lose someone that you love. I'm thinking that's what more of the threats. You know, he's receiving threats, yes. He's in isolation for his own protection. Somebody wants to work him over and teach him a lesson. But there's an underlying threat directed towards his family. Very quiet and secretive, a mystery. There's something going on behind the scenes with this moon card that's not sitting well. Now, clarifiers. I want to know more about this moon energy. This is the exiting energy. Something elusive, something unknown. And it could have to do with motives. We got the King of Pentacles here with the 8 of Wands. That's talking about movement, communication, secret orders being barked out by somebody behind the scenes. That doesn't look good. I want to know more about this 10 of Cups, this family. 5 of Swords. So there is some bullying of family or from a I don't want to throw accusations out there. A battle. An attack. An underhanded attack. And it's going both ways. By family or somebody really close together, a close group, bringing on a surprise attack that could be within the prison. An ambush almost. I feel like an ambush in the prison. And they're waiting for their opportunity for him to be alone in the GP. But he's under protection right now. And there's also potentially an attack against his family. I can't get away from that. I cannot get away from that. And his support system, Ace of Cups. Some regret. Some loss, some emotional loss, disappointment. Okay. Regret over the negative things that he participated. This is more his energy. Supportive energy. I'm seeing his own emotions. He has remorse. He did not display it. But this here, you know, I said there's something more deep down inside. He has remorse for his part in this. What happened to the 4 victims. He has definite remorse. But there's still a lot of stuff that is being hidden. Okay. That's the general overview of Kohberger's current state. I want to take a look at this threat. The threat. Show me the threat. Threat against Bryan himself in prison from inmates. Show me the threat itself. Eight of Cups. I think this is going on a journey. The threat, Eight of Cups, walking away. And the Magician. This is escaping some kind of judgment from somebody. This almost feels like him pulling a rabbit out of his hat. I'm not seeing anything. What's on his mind? Judgment. Okay. Above is being judged for his acts that night. But there's an energy here of escaping and against the people who are threatening him. Waiting for him to take a walk somewhere out in the yard or wherever. But there's this idea of him being able to escape it. There's a little bit of manipulation here. People are judging him for what he did. Yes, there is manipulation. He did not get away with this. But I almost feel like he's not going to be touched, at least right now. Ace of Pentacles. At the time of the sentencing, I think there was an offer put out there. Hey, teach him a lesson. Page of Pentacles. Yeah, there is a contract on him right now. They're waiting for a time when he is alone. When he is feeling safe. And there is a little bit of manipulation going on here. Somebody put an offer out. A contract, a karmic contract with the Lovers. A partnership. Ace of Swords. Okay, I'm just going to say it. There is a threat. They want him shanked. They want him shanked. And a celebration when it happens. King of Pentacles. Shit. Yeah, somebody with money paid. Somebody who is freaking loaded. His bank account is fucking loaded. Put a contract out on Bryan. That's what this is about. Teach him a lesson. And it's going to make it look like it's something. The fight is going to appear to be like it's something else. Out of nowhere. Beaten. It's almost like releasing aggression on him for the Four. Because there's a burden, there's a new communication, and a decision being made. Tower. Okay. I'm predicting this now. I'm not seeing the Death card. Okay. However, I do see an aggressive attack against him with a weapon, homemade weapon. I wouldn't be surprised at the very least that he gets beaten by a group. There is a contract that was put out within the prison system behind the scenes. This is what the moon is talking about right now. And the King of Pentacles shows up in both spreads. It's screaming. Screaming. I bought justice. I bought prison justice. That's what this is. And he might become injured, at the very least, shanked in some way. But you know, I said that by him maintaining control, them underestimating him, I could see him fighting back. I do not see the Death card. I do see injuries. But I also see other trouble brewing. Because it is going to create a burden for him. There could be even him and others coming under attack. Not coming under attack, but coming under judgment. In other words, could Bryan end up with other charges against him? Not that it matters. Yeah. Knight of Cups. He could actually be moved. Okay. I think there's going to be an attack on him. And that is going to what's going to force them to move. There's a, still reminds me of prison cells and a guard. Okay. And him being wounded. He could be transferred to another federal prison. Okay. Or state prison. It happens all the time. There's been people, for their own safety, they have been put into other state prison systems where there may not be vendettas against him. And, that move might be very quiet. Okay, let's just ask about that. About a potential changing of prisons. Could he be transferred? Show me energy around him being transferred to another prison. Show me energy about him being transferred to another prison. Show me about him. Release. That's the second time it came up in the reverse. Being released from that prison and going to another. King of Wands. Yeah. There could even be some kind of work involved. You know what? I don't know why I'm seeing this. But it feels like him being released from his current prison, going to another one by somebody else's command and then putting him to work. It almost feels like, yeah, okay, there's a partnership. I'm not saying he's getting out. No, I'm not seeing him being released from prison, but I'm seeing him transferred. I saw that in the last spread. It's saying being released from the current prison, but going somewhere else under another warden. Him being put to work, an agreement. Seven of Swords. Behind the scenes. In other words, we are not going to hear about this. Magician. Making things happen. They want to utilize his skills in this other prison system. In this other prison that he gets moved to. But not telling people about it. And there might be rumors that he's being transferred because they have work for him to do in the other prison. But we're going to be lied to about it. Yep. Something being offered. Something being overlooked. And it's not exactly something that he's going to be happy with. Because he's worried about his mother. I just got to put it out there. Could he be moved closer to his mom? Because he's not exactly happy how far away he is from his mother. And his siblings. I think he wants to be closer to home. He might get his wish, but there is a condition that he has to work. I'm getting using his skills. He's got a master's degree in criminology. He's working in for something with forensics and everything. They're going to put him to work on cases. Let's just be blunt. Okay, there's a card that is upright. I don't know where it went to. Felt like there it is, the Fool. The Fool turned itself upside down. And the Ace of Cups. Yeah. 9 of Cups. He's going to get what he wants. He is going to go a journey. He is going to go on. He's at least, I feel, happy face. You're not getting your wish. He's not coming to Oregon. He's going in the opposite direction. Towards the East Coast. He's going to be closer to home. Closer to his mother. He has a very special bond with his mother. Very close bond with his mom. And this is going to be a new opportunity in prison that it's going to be presented to him. He's going to get his wish about moving closer to his mom. Okay. Now, the other thing I wanted to ask about before I close this reading off is I wanted to look at how did he feel about the impact statements, especially, well, I want to ask about Olivia's first. What was his feelings, or what was going through his head? Because that's the only one that I noticed subtle shifts in posture. Subtle moving his chair. A little facial expression here or there. More intense blinking. He feels he was glad when it was over. Feels like he thinks she was a little bit too detailed, but he feels she gave it her best shot. There was definitely an energy exchange here. And as she walked away, 8 of Pentacles in the reverse, he kind of shrugged it off. But during the time, she had his attention. Tell me more. Tell me more about this. You know, I get the energy he couldn't wait for her to be done. And it wasn't boredom. Yeah, the car. He couldn't wait to get on with it, her to get on with it. He felt the emotions, but he kept a lid on his emotions. He wanted to get up out of there and run. There was a lot of aggravation. He was aggravated, felt aggressive. He wanted to move. He knew he couldn't. Some of the things she said, especially when he felt like he was in an emotional storm in that, because she was attacking him personally. Yeah, and not giving him credit. It was almost like recognizing him in a negative light, not how clever he was, attacking his person. I'm getting all these. Get me the fuck out of here. Yeah, he was emotionally imbalanced, but he kept a lid on it. He hid it well. Only those who know what to look for in body language would understand what might have been going on in his head. Now, some of the footage was a little bit pixelated. Couldn't really see all of his facial expressions, but his blink rate changed with her. Okay. What about the other victims? Families. Other impact statements. I don't know if this would be the exact words that Bryan would use, but where Steve G is concerned, his opinion of Steve G is a clown. I just got to put it out there. But I wouldn't underestimate Steve G. Read between the lines. I'm not going to spell it out. Other impact statements. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to worry about it. That's not what's going to keep him up at night. He did keep things to himself. Now, the other impact statements, they were calling him out, the demons within. But he analyzed them. He analyzed them, yes. More like, you know, he's got that analytical mind. He's got that research mind. He's got that strategic mind. It's almost like a study. He sat there studying each one. The one that made the most impact on him was Olivia. Because there was aggression there. There was no aggression with the other ones that I'm seeing. And Steve G, he thought was a joke. Hangsman in the reverse. I don't need enlightened. I know what I did. I made the choice. Ace of Wands. Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. He kind of delighted in them. I hate to say it. It's almost like he had, you know, that was a choice he made. I don't need enlightened about what I did. I know what my part was and what my part wasn't. It was a bad situation. Things went south that night. Things went south in general. And it was like, well, you're the unlucky ones to have the family member. I don't want to say pity. But there is a level of arrogance. Death. Two of Cups. There's something about Anna and Zethan in this. Or about the couples, the dualities. There could have been some spying on the couples. Anna and Zethan are sticking out, and so is Maddie and Kaylee for their friendship. And I'm seeing all this duality, this two sets of people. Both of them were watched. Patience, son, by the firm. The firm who got away with it because they bought their way out of trouble concerning that tragedy. So there's more to this again. But these are all things this is what was going through his head during his impact statements. Everybody else, Xana and Ethan, you know, he was thinking about them. That they may have been collateral damage. I do not feel they were the target. They were collateral damage, and he feels bad. That's what this is. He feels bad about Etha and Xana because they were at the wrong place at the wrong time. Unfortunate what happened to them. Fraternity, the firm, you know, and he's thinking about his contribution to them as well. I think he was more connected to them than he was Maddie and Kaylee. And that's what he regrets. And it's almost like they had to go because of I feel like the reason why Xana and Ethan were attacked is because they could bear witness to what went on, and they couldn't. But which makes me wonder about survivors. A particular survivor. Okay? A particular survivor. If Ethan and Xana were collateral damage, it could have been a confrontation with Ethan and Xana that might have caused that. But somebody opened their bedroom door and saw someone, right? Let's take a look. What about the survivors? Why? Eight of Swords. Or Knight of Swords. Ace of Swords. They were drunk. And oh, okay, I get it. There was the certain ones that were the target, but they survived because time was ticking. Two perpetrators. I shit you not. Both of them on the move. The other two could have become victims, but these two were on the move. Time was running out. Fool. Because they felt it would be foolish to try to take on Dylan and Bethany. So they became, this is Wounded Warrior, but in reverse, unscathed. They were unscathed. And I feel like because it had to do with maybe they were out of it, drink, other things. But with this full energy, it's almost like innocence. Okay. Yeah, they walked away from a sudden ending because of two perpetrators being in a really big hurry, had to get out. Time is of the essence when it comes to daylight. So they had to escape before they could be spotted. And there is something there that seemed to be something was seen, but was taken as something else. And this has to do with the second perpetrator. And it's making me go back to Molly, the DoorDash driver. But I'm going to leave this reading here. I would like to do a separate reading on Molly, the DoorDash driver. But for right now, I wanted to see what was going on with Kohberger. And the rest of it was information on why the other two was spared. Xana and Ethan were collateral damage. Just let me just check on Xana and Ethan before I end this completely. I know. I said I was going to end it. I didn't want this to be a super long video because I got other things I've got to do. Show me Anna and Ethan. Queen of Swords. There's a little bit of aggression with the Queen. That's Xana. Xana was out of it, and she may have been rattling her tongue to the wrong person. One of the people in. She was observing what was going on, or she observed something downstairs or upstairs. She observed something, and she may have confronted a person, and person that was trying to get out, but then they realized we can't leave her, which also led to Ethan, which led to that. Okay? That was caused because as a perpetrator was leaving, there was something verbal confrontation about what she was observing or she was questioning. And she had some drink in her, and so did Ethan. Couldn't properly defend himself, but there's an illusion around there. The illusion is they were collateral damage because I think Xana, she may have went to the kitchen or something and was in confrontation. You know, this Knight of Wands is trying to escape, trying to leave behind her back, right? There's only, I think there's one main target. I just got to put it out there. Let's see. Maddie, they're going to get you for that. Remember that. That was key that was being overlooked by law enforcement, let me tell you. So, he's on the way out. Xana stops, questioning things that did not appear to be kosher or right. There was an illusion, a smokescreen. What the hell's going on? She wanted clarity because she observed something. What was that? What was going on? What are you doing here? And which led to that as they were trying to walk away. That's what it was. Do I believe that Xana and Ethan would have been spared had they really been asleep? Had they been in their beds? Probably. Because I think that they were, honestly, I think they were after Maddie. Kaylee was there. Kaylee, Knight of Pentacles, dependable, reliable, an offer. Kaylee may have been collateral also because she was with Maddie. But Kaylee might have been targeted because Kaylee knew something. I keep on saying I want to put things away. I want Maddie's energy, Kaylee's energy. I don't even need these two decks at all. I got them out just in case. Maddie, the Magician, the Manifestation, the Skills, Communication. Card for Kaylee. Kaylee was first. Kaylee was first. Because this was a cover she did not want. Kaylee was not, they did not want to take Kaylee out. Oh, wait a second. Somebody was given a cup that they didn't want. Maddie was a target because of information that she held. Kaylee was lowered there. Lord, not lowered. Lord there. Kaylee did not want to go. She didn't. She did not want to go. She did not want to stay there. That was not her original intention. But because she went, King of Pentacles, did the unthinkable. Saw an opportunity. So, was she a target for that night specifically or not? I think Maddie was the primary target. Kaylee was an opportunity. And Ethan and Xana were collateral damage. That's my take on it. I didn't think this reading was going to go into that, but apparently Spirit and the Four wanted to talk about it in relation to Bryan. Because it came up that Bryan felt bad about Ethan and Xana. He did. He did. In a way that he thought it was unfortunate that they were there. Which is telling me they were not the target. Now I'm done. Now I'm done. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and just drop the mic now.